If you're sick and tired and not getting the followers that you want to on Instagram right now, well, this video is for you, because by the end of it, you're gonna have a 5-step blueprint. And I guarantee you that if you implement this blueprint, it's going to increase the amount of followers that you're getting, because the Instagram algorithm has recently changed and you need to adapt to all the new features that they're releasing around AI and a bunch of other things I'm gonna share with you in this video. In fact, this creator right here just made these changes and was able to gain over 500,000 followers as a result. And this creator was able to do the same thing, except to gain over 300,000 followers. And the same exact thing can happen to you so long as you implement these tactics. The first thing that you need to make sure that you're doing is you need to start using Instagram's new AI search, and you need to use it correctly, because if you're still just using their search bar in order to search for people, well, you're making a massive mistake, because now you can actually have a conversation with it. For example, you could ask it for the top 3 videos this last week about XYZ content topic, and then guess what they end up doing? It ends up showing you exactly what those reels are. And then what you could do is take the hook from those reels and then ask the AI again to change that hook for you. Or you could ask it to write you a great description based off of somebody else's description. Or you can get it to tell you the best hashtags that you should be using for your specific niche. And what you want to make sure that you're doing is adapting to all these changes, because whenever Instagram releases a new feature, well, guess what? They reward people for actually using that feature. And essentially, this feature is going to help you better understand what's working on Instagram, like whether photos or reels are working better within your niche, and it's going to allow you to be able to find a bunch of your top competitors if you start using it correctly. But we can't stop there, because there are so many other changes that you need to make sure that you're making to increase your followers. But first, you need to just smash that subscribe button. If you want to go click on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube, I literally upload a video every single day about how to grow on these platforms. In addition to that, I just created a free Instagram growth course. You could get it at the pinned comment below. It's going to share with you things like the best time to post on Instagram, which, by the way, has recently updated. So what are you waiting for? It's literally 100% free. Just go to that pinned comment below and get it right now. On top of that, you need to make sure that you're making your descriptions the right length. In fact, you need to make sure that you're making descriptions that look like this. This description does several different things right. First and foremost, there is a hook in the description. Secondly, the description is very well spaced out. And then finally, there's a call to action in the description. But the most important part of this description are all the different keywords that she used in it. And then guess what ends up happening? It makes it way easier for Instagram to know exactly who to show her content to. And boom, this is why she's been able to gain so many followers by uploading content to Instagram. And you can do the same thing so long as you're writing Instagram descriptions that are between 150 and 250 characters long, because this is going to force you to put a bunch of keywords in your description that Instagram is then going to look at, and boom, they're going to increase your reach, because they're going to have a much easier time figuring out exactly who they should be showing your content to. And remember, Instagram wants to see you creating original content right now. What does this mean? It means that if you upload a meme, you need to make a few changes for it. And that you can't just steal somebody else's content. You need to make sure that you're making enough edits to it that Instagram doesn't think that it's the same old piece of content that's been uploaded 100 times. And there are a few really easy ways to do this. The first one is using the green screen feature. The second is turning this into a piece of sludge content, aka content that has something on the top, something on the bottom, or something on both sides. I'm sure you see content like this all the time on Instagram. And this is one of the easiest ways for you to increase your reach. The other easy way for you to be able to increase your reach, which ultimately is going to get you more followers, is making sure that you're showing up in both placements that you can show up on Instagram. The first placement is going to be the Explore feed. The second placement is going to be the Reels feed, or just the homepage on Instagram. And the only way that you're going to be able to show up on both is if you're creating 2 types of content. The first type of content that you need to make sure that you're creating, are going to be Reels. But the second type of content that not that many people know about are going to be carousels. Ideally, it should be an infographic plus a video that has to do with that infographic. In fact, if you go to your Explore feed right now, I guarantee that you see a bunch of these carousels that are basically an image and then a video. And you need to make sure that you're posting the same exact type of content, because if you're not, well, then you're not showing up on literally half of Instagram. And that's why your competitors are growing quicker than you. Which brings me to step number 3, and that is that you need to be using hashtag correctly on Instagram. And no, I'm not gonna be talking about the best strategies to use. If you wanna know about that, I'm gonna link out to one of my videos on that after this video. But what you need to make sure that you're doing in terms of hashtags right now is understanding that Instagram has completely changed how Instagram hashtags work. Now, if you do a search for a hashtag, you're gonna be able to see which accounts are trending under that, what posts are trending under that, what reels are trending under that, even what sounds are trending under that. So guess what that means? If you have a list, like you should, of 10 to 12 at least hashtags within your niche, and then you go and do searches for those things, you're gonna be able to find exactly who your competitors are, exactly what content they're making, and even what sounds they're using in your content. And if you start creating content in those formats, in those lengths, guess what's going to happen? Instagram is then going to push your content out like absolutely crazy, and it's going to allow you to get more followers right now. In fact, Instagram CEO just came out and said that small accounts are now going to get pushed more on Instagram because they've done a poor job at pushing out small accounts in the past, which is crazy because I've been seeing creators grow like absolute crazy in 2024 on Instagram, which means the growth is only going to get better. So you need to make sure that you implement these next 2 tips because they're going to make all the difference, and they're things that Instagram CEO thinks you should really be focused on. But first, I did want to emphasize the opportunity that you have at hand right now. It is easier to grow on Instagram, and it is going to continue to get easier than it ever has been before. If you were trying to grow on Instagram 2 years ago, 12 months ago, 5 years ago, it was way harder. But now it's easier than ever before because they have new tools, they have new analytics, and there are a bunch of new things coming in the pipeline. They're going to help increase reach for small accounts just like yours. So please, make sure you don't let this moment pass you by. I'm sure you regret not buying Bitcoin in 2015. And I'm sure you regret not growing on TikTok 5 years ago. Well, guess what? This is your opportunity with Instagram. You just have to make sure you implement these next 2 things. The 4th change that you need to make sure that you're making is you need to make sure that you're adapting to producing longer content on Instagram. What does this mean? Instagram is trying to actually compete with TikTok and compete with YouTube now, and the way that they're gonna do this is by forcing the algorithm to push out long form content. Now, I'm not talking about content that's 3 minutes long or 5 minutes long. I'm simply talking about videos that are 30 seconds long. But what you need to make sure that you do in videos that are 30 seconds long are, 1, you need much better stakes in the beginning of your video. AKA, you need a better reason for people to actually continue watching your piece of content. Secondly, you need to make sure that you're disputing something that they already believe in or trying to piss people off. And no, I'm not telling you to piss off all your followers. I'm just saying that you need to do something that actually grabs their attention, because if you are able to do that, you're gonna get them to watch a video for a longer period of time. And remember, once the promise that you promised in the beginning of your video is over, you need to end your video immediately. Otherwise, your audience retention graph is going to look like this, which is not good because there's a ton of drop off. But you also don't want your audience retention graph to look like this, which is why you need a really good hook and stakes in the beginning of that video. And remember, I wouldn't upload super long videos on Instagram right now. I would just start getting used to uploading videos that are 30 seconds long. Other than that, content that's really, really short is actually doing the best on Instagram right now. But like I said, this is going to start to change, which is why I want you to get ready to make those 30-second videos. Now, this brings me to the last and most important thing that you need to do if you want to get more followers on Instagram, and that is that you need to be focused on delayed explosions. What is a delayed explosion? It's when Instagram randomly makes one of your posts go viral a week later, 10 days later, 3 days later, or even 30 days later. And the only way that you're gonna get this to happen is by doing 3 core things. The first one is staying consistent, posting at least 1 time a day on Instagram. The second thing is trying to improve every single time that you post. And then third, you need to make sure that you're getting advice from somebody that actually knows what they're talking about when it comes to growing on Instagram, which is why I personally want to help you grow your account the same way I helped this creator get over 500,000 followers and this creator over 200,000 followers. I want you to be my next success story. In fact, I want to tell you exactly what time you should post, how you should edit your content, what hashtags you should use, and so much more. If that sounds interesting, well, please check out this video right here where I explain exactly how we can work together one-on-one to guarantee that you get more followers on Instagram.